Hello everyone, this is Wild Blade from Creative Media Vault in Tokyo, Japan. And today I'm going to be doing just a little bit of streaming because I have meetings in about an hour and a half that I need to start getting ready for. So I'm not going to stay on too long today because it is Wednesday and also I have the last episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi and I have Miss Marvel to watch. So I'm not really going to be staying on too late today. Let me check, take my mail and everything quick. Yeah, so we're just gonna do a little bit of level design since that's kind of what we're working on this week. I was gonna do some stuff yesterday, but I kind of got busy doing some other stuff. So yeah, I'm just gonna do this for about an hour or so. So I hope everybody's doing pretty well and having a good week so far. It's supposed to be raining a lot in Tokyo, but so far not so much. It's the rainy season right now, but we're managing to get through it without so much rain at the moment. Okay, so the game that we are working on is this one, CDULO, Beyond the Outer Rim, which is my Kickstarter game. So I have added a button for you. When you go to my website, I have added a button for people who might be interested in signing up for beta test. So you can click on this button here, and it will take you to my beta test sign up page. And then you can check that out, and you can go ahead and enter your email address and stuff like that to go ahead and sign up for the beta test. And I will let you guys know when everything is ready. And then also you'll gain access to the demo game. As I mentioned before, I will be locking a lot of my content now on Patreon. Because I'm going to be doing more lessons and stuff like that. So you can go to my Patreon page if you kind of want to see more. So most of the artwork and the additional stuff that I will be doing will be on Patreon, and it will kind of be locked for members only, except for some tutorials and stuff like that, right? So the game that we're working on is this one right here. So you can find out more information about that on my website, which is creativemv.com. And don't forget to also check out the original source material, which are the novels and the comics that this is associated with. So what we did last time, oh, and I have also got other games for you guys to play here. I highly recommend playing this one because it's one of the more complete ones. All right, let me turn the sound down on my music right quick, just to make sure that's not overwhelming my speech here. All right, so what we're going to do for the next hour is we're going to kind of continue with building this game. So during the last stream, what we were working on is we were actually working on character animations, right? So we finished up character animations last week with Dozer. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to Dozer. And this is our honey badger in space. So this is the last animation that you saw. So go ahead and play through this. Do I have maximize on play selected? No, I don't. Okay, so I'll go ahead and hit my maximize on play. So all of the basic animations for the base animations for the characters are done, and what we can do now is we can go ahead and start laying out levels. So the way that I'm going to do this game does have a story. So the way that I'm going to do it first is in the beginning I was planning on just tossing the players into a level and just being trying to teach them tutorials on how to use each character. And I'm like, okay, now switch to this character to do this, now switch to this character to do that or whatnot. But which is kind of cool. But what I decided to do now is I think I'm gonna actually start the game with each character starting in a different location. So there will be we have 7 characters. So I'll be doing 7 different levels, designing 7 different levels that are going to kind of teach you the basics of using each of these characters first. And then what we're going to do is after you've played with each character and kind of learned a little bit about their abilities, then we're going to start merging them into the same levels to where you kind of have to switch between them. So for animation wise, this is the character that we were doing last time. This is Dozer, our honey badger in space. And so he's got his running animation, he's got his jumping animation. So this is all that we were doing last week. Let me get rid of this message. And he can shoot. He's got his melee attack right here. And we're probably going to change some of these melee attacks up. And what else does he have? We don't have his power ups here or anything like that. He does have a wall climb. So you'll notice though that the level itself is different. The level that we're on is different because this is just going to be a basic level that we're designing right now. Just kind of get a layout thing going. So as Dother runs over here, he can actually press the V key and like he's got his little wall climb thing, right? And like he's the only character that will initially have a wall climb. So, with this game, I do have it to where we can kind of, with this level, I do have it to where we can switch between characters already. But, for the level design, I kind of want to focus each level on their specific character. So the level that I'm making right now is actually for Megan, right? And Megan is the red-headed girl that we started this video with. So, and let me go ahead and move up over here. This is kind of what her level looks like right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the character. So I'm going to switch over to Megan. So Megan Reavers, cut her back on. So this will be her level. And this is just mainly just for designing her level. So the reason why we're going to do this is because each character has their own special abilities that they're going to need to use. So for Megan, her main thing is like she's going to have like a double jump. So her level needs to kind of be tailored to her specific skills. So that's kind of what we're going to be going for. So in the player controller that I have designed, I have most of a lot of options. So, for example, I have this boolean right here, which will basically say whether this level can allow character switching or not. Now, for this particular level, I'm going to leave the character swap, this can swap character boolean checked off, or set to false, because like this level is basically designed to focus on her. So this is going to be like an introductory level to this character, right? So, now, let's see, what else does she have? Is there anything else I need to turn? I think I have wall climb activated for her as well. So, can grenade toss, can wall grab, yeah. So, I'm going to leave her can double jump on, but I'm going to turn this can wall grab off. Well, actually, let me leave it on right now and show you what that does. So right now, she does have the, using this setup in the player controller, it actually allows me to kind of switch, like toggle different abilities on and off for each character in one go. So usually Megan won't have a wall climb ability. That actually belongs to Dozer, the honey badger that we were just playing. But, for the sake of this game, just to kind of test things, I did give it to her so she can just kind of grab this and like wall climb up, and her gun kind of vanishes. And then, so she's got that nice little wall climb animation that we made last week. So, but by default, this wall climb will be turned off for her. Right, so yeah, let me go ahead and jump into my player controller where I have all of my settings, and I'll just go all the way down here. So this is actually called wall grab. So I'll just turn off can wall grab. Alright, and now she won't have that ability. And so she will have to rely on her ability to kind of jump between platforms. And that's kind of what we're going for her. Alright, so as I play this, so now she's running over here, she can come over here, but she can't grab the wall and she can't jump, right? So that means that she's going to have to rely on her own special skill to get across the level. Alright, so now when it comes to this level, you guys are probably wondering like why everything is pink and where the hell did this level come from? Because we were working on a totally different level last time. Well, to answer that question, basically, I created a completely new level specifically for her. So you got scenes right here, and I haven't really named it like for her yet, so we're basically just copying the previous level. So all I did was copy the previous level. So let me show you how I have that set up. So the way that I set up my games basically is I kind of have a lot of things in different containers, which are basically empty game controllers, right? Or empty game objects. So our main camera is still the same. We've got our main camera that is using Cinemachine, which has a virtual camera and allows me to have like camera bounds. So like areas that the camera can kind of you'll notice this little green like border and stuff like that, which is like areas that the camera can kind of traverse and travel to. And it can't go beyond those bounds. So that's why I'm using virtual Cinemachine. This is already set up for using a URP, so we that's why you can see kind of like the glow behind her, because lighting is already set up on this. So I think I showed you how to do that in my Spirits of the Lost Winds tutorial. If you haven't checked that out, or I recommend going to check out my Spirits of the Lost Winds game tutorial, because there's a lot of stuff that I basically just use that as a code base to build this, right? So after the main camera, we have like controllers. So this game object just holds my controllers for like game controller, master controller, like audio controller and stuff like that. Then I have this. This game object holds the empty building blocks. So what I mean by that is, before I start laying out a level, what I like to do is I first like to make basic shapes, right? Basic shapes that will kind of just hold all of the that I can kind of keep reusing over and over. So for example, you'll notice these things over here which are not visible in the game. Well, these are the default shapes, right? So I've got a default square, a default circle, a default rectangle, a default bottom aligned rectangle, and a default triangle. And actually, I'm gonna move these guys up too. You guys just got promoted. Yeah. So so these are basically just I keep on saying movie because, but these are just like prefab game objects that I'm just going to keep on reusing over and over and over again, so that I can like save memory and stuff like that. So just really basic shapes. I can change, for example, like the reason I do everything is white is because on a different level I might use the same shape, but I just might want to change the color to something. So like her level might be a jungle level, so I might need to like use some different greens or whatnot. And then I can just kind of change everything, from here. So make a duplicate and then like change it, and I'm good to go. I'm still using the same prefab. Right, so these are the basic shapes that I'll be using to build this level, and the triangle here. Um, for the unusual shapes, like this one right here, and maybe the triangle, these were just created in any graphic software, but like I tend to use Adobe Animate a lot for setting up my stuff. So basically I just created it here and then saved it out and imported it into Unity and turned it into a prefab. So I can just keep on reusing the same stuff over and over and over again, right? So these are the basic shapes that we're looking at. You're also going to notice that there are some lines. There are three, well, these are kind of like guidelines. So I have a red guideline down here, so a little bit blurred out. The transparency has been dropped. So I have a red guideline here. I have a green guideline here, and then I have a blue guideline here. So the blue one is the ceiling for this level, and this is how far I want the player to actually, the maximum maximum height that I want the player be able to go. So that includes like if there's another land mass up here. So if I want to put like land, like maybe a sky cloud or a sky level above this, then even if the player is on this land, I don't want her to be able to really jump past this point. So when she hits the ceiling, she's gonna bump her head, right, and come back down, because I don't want her going through that. This level floor is basically the same thing. This is actually situated very well below the sea level of the thing. So like anything that drops down here, basically I'm going to put a kill switch on this, a kill script, and when something falls and hits this, it's just going to die, right? And let's see, actually I might go ahead and do that. So on my level floor, I do have a script called kill zone. I'm just going to add a kill zone here. Alright, and this is going to get rid of any object that actually impacts it, so that we don't have any leftover objects just kind of wandering around the screen that fall off and are just kind of hanging down at the bottom, like sometimes happens in Mario. So we're going to do like player. For this is a script I built like a long time ago, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I'm gonna drag the player in here. Depth effect might not. Am I gonna give it a depth effect? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give it the depth effect. So a lot of the stuff that you're seeing me kind of, you'll notice that I'm able to kind of fill in the blank a lot. That's because I'm simply reusing game elements from my previous games that I've already built in order to save time. So I built this game called Quest of the Gummy Witch, and I'm basically using that as a base. And then I built my Spirits of the Lost Winds game template, which you can download from my website for free. Well, not for free anymore. It's actually like cost now. So, yeah. So if you can actually go to my website, and if you want to like build a game without having to code anything yourself, like a 2D top-down game without having to code anything yourself, you just go here and you can go to the Spirits of the Lost Wings game, and you can kind of see what this game is about. Play around with the trailer, play around with the demo, and then you can download this template. Which has a lot of like I said, I kind of just built to the code base. So, what I like to do is I like to build the functionality for my game before I actually start making levels and characters and stuff like that, because it makes stuff like this go much faster and much easier, right? So, hold on, I just got a mail that I need to check. All right, is this anything? Okay, safe. All right. So this script is something that I had already kind of like built for my Quest of the Gummy Witch game. Damage amount, I might just give this a damage amount of like, 100 or even like 1000, just to make sure that anything that drops down there is dead. Health, like 0. Alright, so let me zoom out of here. Okay, it's taking a while to load, for some reason. Okay, it's not usually this slow. But it's kind of getting hot here in Tokyo. So I noticed that it's hot and humid. Alright, so now, like, when my player runs around here, she can run, she can kind of jump. Oh, she's got an extra arm that shouldn't be there. I'll have to turn that off. I just noticed that now. So now, like, she can actually drop down here, and, when she hits that kill thing, you'll notice her, it just resets. Yeah, so that's what that kill box, that bottom like line is for, just to make sure that it catches anything that tries to go down there. Now, yeah, I noticed that her arms are kind of sticking out here. Give me a second. All right, so she got we got an extra arm down here. That I don't want, that is part of her character for animation, but I don't necessarily need it for this first thing. So I'll go into her character, and where that other like arm left should be. Yeah, so when she's in her default mode, she doesn't need these arms showing. So yeah, because she's double wielding her weapon. All right, there we go. Okay, yeah, my Mac is getting a bit warm down here. I'm not in my normal recording space, which is upstairs, because like that's kind of being used at the moment. But I have my cooling system up there. So, all right, so now we don't see those other arms, and she can kind of run around and do her thing, and like she can still shoot. So she's like one of the few like double arm wielders in the game for her primary weapon. So we do have to hide her other ghost arms. All right, cool. So, yeah, that looks nice. Right, so, what we're going to be doing from here now is, I'm still kind of, like, showing you how I've set this up. So, though we were talking about these three. So this is the ceiling. This is this middle one is the default ground line. Now, this will basically be like where the starting ground is going to be. But we're gonna this if you'll notice, this is this doesn't have a rigid body, and it doesn't have any physics with it, because it's just supposed to be there as a guide to show the player where the default ground was. But now that we know where that, and the default ground runs all the way through this level, so I've got this green line right here that's going all the way through. Then I have like this blue line here, this blue guide, this yellow guide, and this red guide, which are kind of showing the start of the level, the middle of the level, and the end of the level. And this will help me with placement of like game elements, and then it'll like give me a sign. Oh, okay, I'm getting close to the end of the level, so maybe I need to add more stuff to this part, right? For the default ground line, we can put stuff way below this, as long as it's above the red, above this red line here, we're good. So these are just like guides to help me with the overall level layout, and that'll make things faster and easier, right? So let's see, that's kind of what you're looking at in the default building blocks. So we've got our literal default building blocks, which are like the square, circle, rectangle. Then we have our guides, which will help me with spacing and timing and laying out the level. So that's what's in this movie clip. For this one, we also have our instructions. So for instructions on this level, I don't really have so many, but let's press this. All right, and we're going to go here. And you'll see that, you'll notice that that's actually way in the back where it doesn't need to be. So I'll move this to default level, level 1. All right. Yeah, so I'll explain my sorting layers in a little bit, because I've done something kind of tricky with those. So all of these, I think I can move them to the same level, or same layer. Sorry. Go ahead, sir. Text filler. Okay, that one I don't need. Yeah, so I'm just going to make sure that they're all on layer 0. So the reason why these are on layer 0 is because layer 0 doesn't have parallax with it. So like all of the other layers, I've kind of put parallax on them, and I'll show you how I did that a little bit. But for these guys, parallax wasn't necessary, so I've just kind of like, for layer 0, that's the layer that the player is going to be on, and most of the player and the enemies are going to be on that layer. So alright, so let's see what I've got. I'll put this one in -10 mode. Alright, and so for the basic instructions, I'm going to leave those on the screen, because the player is going to need to know how to play the game. So like these are going to be kind of essential instructions for them. Right. So that's kind of what's under this instructions movie clip. Then after that, instructions game object. Then after that, we have our characters, which basically just holds the player controller, like the player game object, and a couple of other things. So, but mainly just the player. And inside of my player, that's where I have all of my characters that are my swappable characters. So that's the characters, and if you'll notice, the player is located on, like all of these characters are located on layer 0, the one that doesn't have any parallax with it. The next thing we have is our music and our sounds. And keep in mind, these are all just basically, all of these containers are basically just empty game objects that I've just kind of created, put a title on, and then shoved shit into, right? So this one is the background music for the level, which I'll need to make some new background music for this one, but right now I'm just using temporary background music. After that, we have our UI. So this is all of our UI elements, like our HUD, our pop-up menus, our game over panel. the inventory system. Inventory system is what you're seeing right here. When the character picks up something, he'll like get a weapon, it'll pop up in this box. So, and I showed you how to create an inventory system in my Spirits of the Lost Winds build. So please check out those videos and download my game kit. So UI should be like pretty standard. So, and we're gonna leave that on for this stream as well. After the UI, I have my dialogue manager, which holds all of my dialogues that I've got in the game. And I think I've shown you how to set those up in my Spirits of the Lost Winds game kit as well. So you can either watch the videos or you can download the game kit and not have to worry about watching any of that shit. And just like plug and play it. So here's each character will have their own dialogues. So this system allowed me to easily create different dialogues with voiceover if necessary, if I want to have it for each character. So I've got the option for text and I've got the option for like voice. So let me go ahead and turn on this intro dialogue, right? And that's kind of what this looks like. So now hold on. Actually, that will need to go into the pop-up. So let me when you play the game, I've got these triggers for the dialogues. That's basically what these pop-up dialogues are. So when I play the game and the player runs into a certain trigger, it will play a different dialogue. So this is one reason why I think it's good for you to go ahead and build the functionality for your game before you actually start doing the levels and the characters and all of this stuff, because it'll save you like so much time. I'm explaining all of this stuff now, but basically the core of the game is already built. Alright, so like for the dialogue system, what you're running into is I have an invisible trigger right around here. Right, so when she runs into this trigger, she's going to get this incoming call, so she can click here.
Great, you are finally awake. You slept a long time, girl.
Right, and this will automatically trigger this dialogue for her. And like this dialogue does have voice acting with it, which I got from using a software called Replica Studios. And like it's pretty easy to use. It might not sound, some of the voices might not sound so realistic. You can still tell, get out of my way. Yeah. Well, why is this guy not dying? Oh, okay, he's gonna, I'll have to fix that. Like, his collision is different. So, I can still move, I can still run, I can still jump. The dialogue system, like, not getting too much in the way. So, now I can, in order to close this, I can just hit the X button, and that'll get rid of the dialogue. Right. Let me turn the volume down on this computer, by the way. Alright, so anyway, that's the dialogue manager. So the dialogue manager is actually where that holds all of the dialogues, all of the different dialogues. So we've got like intro dialogue, NPC dialogue, NPC2 dialogue, boss dialogue, or whatever dialogue we want to make. If we want to make another one, we just like basically just duplicate one of these and change the dialogue in it, and we're good to go. So I'll show you how to do that later. The next we have like the cursor canvas, which is basically just this red cursor that you keep on seeing on the screen when I'm moving around. Event system we don't mess with. The pop-up dialogues, these are actually the dialogue triggers. So basically it's just a game object that will trigger when the player runs into it. And in order to see this, where is my oh, yeah, so it's just like, you know, they don't even have like a sprite render or nothing, like, they're just kind of, just like triggers, so nothing, you can't really see anything with them, but, basically these are easy to do, like, you can, if, you download my 2D game kit, these are set up in the Spirits of Lost Wind 2D game kit as well, so if you want to make your own dialogue, just go to the pop-up dialogues in that game kit and just hit duplicate and change the dialogue and you're good to go. Alright, so these are the triggers and these are the actual dialogues where you actually put the text and stuff. Then we get into the stuff like our level map. So our level map is where we're going to be doing most of our work here. So I'll go through this other stuff like borders. Borders are just kind of some things that I set up, but they're not necessarily going to play too much of a part in this game because I'm doing it a different way. But you'll notice that there are a few like borders down here, but I'm not really going to be using those because I've kind of got my my default building block borders set up for this time. So we'll kind of leave those alone right now. Then these are pickup olds. Basically, these are pickups from the previous level. So I've just kind of turned them off because we're going to be making new pickups or like using new pickups on here. We have our spawners. So spawners will spawn enemies for us to fight at different locations across the screen. So these can be like spawning land enemies or spawning aerial enemies and stuff like that. Our main camera also has a few spawners attached with it as well. Like these spawners are for the flying enemies. So I might want flying enemies that can just kind of keep on, that kind of follow the camera, that are kind of attached to the camera, and that can like spawn enemies on the screen wherever the player is at. So I have that set up here. So the main camera does have some spawners attached with it. What else do I have? So yeah, spawners and checkpoints. Checkpoints will allow the player to kind of reload. Once he dies in a certain place, he doesn't have to go all the way to the beginning of the level. So like I've already got those set up. Portals and triggers. These are like portals that will like allow the player to kind of transport transport across different areas or exit to a different level. So I have those here. This one is towards the end of the level. So after the player goes through all of this, this will be their final final portal. Now, the way that I do my level design is I tend to go ahead and try to define the start and then the end goal first. So after, no matter what goes on in the middle, the player is going to start here, and their mission is to get to this end point here, right? This end goal, right? So right now, actually, this end goal is sitting above this end goal is kind of sitting above our like death line. So actually, I might want to drop that down. Let me go here. So I've got my exit level. Okay, so hold on, let me see exit portal. Okay, yeah, so I might want to go ahead and drag this down even further. Make it look like it's like kind of subterranean and stop it around here. So now, instead of the player just like running straight to this, I want her to be able to like drop down to this level to enter a certain place at this point, right? So that's going to be her place. Actually, since Megan is a jumper, I may actually put that up here. Yeah, so I might actually put that up for her because I might want her to jump up to this point in order to exit the level. Right, so that's what I recommend. Like, go ahead and define your start point and your goal for the level, and then you can build everything up in between, like, later. All right, so now let's see. I've got this enemy portal 1. Enemy portal 1. What are you doing? Or entry portal 1. Okay. Yeah, that needs to go up too. That's on the wrong layer, so let me go ahead and put that on layer 0 as well so that we can see it. And I'll put this on like maybe 5. And then I will drag that up to where the entry portal is, which should be, yeah. So let's see, that's 14 on Y, so I'll put that 14 as well. Okay, yeah, that's good. All right, so this will be where the player is trying to get to on the level. So once you have like your layout completed, then actually once you have your start point and your end point defined, and you have your I guess your guides set up, then making the level becomes much easier. All right, so like what I do with my level design, so we've got particles, portals, particle effects, 2D lights. I also have a controller for those, or a container for those. Directional markers. These are just like things that kind of point when the player is running through a level. If they get lost and they don't know where to go, I'll have like a directional marker that might say, "Hey, go this way." You know, something blinking and flashing that will kind of indicate. It's not an instruction, but it's kind of like just kind of giving, "Hey, dude, go this way," kind of thing. I think I have. Where's my move arrow? I think I'm gonna drag my move arrow down here actually because that's empty. So my directional markers. Yeah, and that move arrow should also be on layer 0, and I'll put that maybe on -5 or something like -4. All right, and the move arrow kind of looks like this. Yeah. So this will be like the move arrow. All right. Cool. So these are just kind of indicators for the player, like, hey, dude, you need to go this way, kind of thing. All right, and then grapple points. This game will have grapple points. Now, for this particular level, I don't think Megan will be using the grapple points because I don't really want her using the grapple gun. We'll mostly use that with Franklin in his level, right? So that's going to be one of his key things. So the grapple points are, I also set up in my Spirits of the Lost Winds game kit. So like if you're wondering how I made all of this stuff, download my Spirits of the Lost Winds game kit, or like check out the previous Twitch streams and like I go through a lot of that stuff. But if you don't want to code all of this shit, just download the game kit and like just copy and paste it into your own game. All right. So, and as I mentioned, you can download the game kit from here. It's still kind of cheap right now, but the price will be increasing because like I'm adding more code and functionality to it. So yeah, just go ahead and grab that while it's cheap. All right. So grapple points will allow the player to kind of latch onto stuff and kind of like catapult themselves or swing to it. But Megan will not be using this for this level, so I can go ahead and turn grapple points off. And like then we have our puzzles and stuff like that. For this level, I'm not really gonna put too many puzzles, because like she's not necessarily going to need them. Well, I might add one though, so I'll leave it there. And then other stuff that I have on here are like interactables. So you'll notice there are quite a few things that are kind of turned off at the moment. So this, if I turn this on, this will be like interactable elements like breakable walls or breakable boxes, or maybe even, what else do I have in here? So I've got breakable walls, breakable boxes. I have like a flower. Let me go ahead and turn this flower on actually. Flower, where are you? So I'm gonna grab this flower and actually kind of drag it down here. Alright, so you can't see anything because like this is on a different level, so I'm gonna move this flower. Oh shit, I have a lot of flowers. Let me move that back up here. So how many flowers do I have in here? Oh shit, I got quite a few of them. Yeah, these are a lot of flowers. I only need one for this demonstration. The rest of you guys just gotta like go off. I'm gonna hide all of these guys. So I'm just going to like make this flower visible. He's on the default layer, that's why you can't see him right now. So I'm gonna put him on layer 1 and make sure that he's like not 95, like maybe -5 or something like that. And let's go over here and focus on this. So this is what our flower looks like. And the reason why this flower is interactable is because I actually have a script and animator controller like set up on this thing, right? So when I'm running, so we are going to like want to make this make this level with an interactive environment. So we want it to feel like the player is really interacting with the environment when they're doing stuff, right? And so like when they run past a tree or when they run past a bush or something like that, we should see some kind of motion or some kind of animation, right? So when I run past this, you'll notice that flower kind of moves. So you're like, yay, something. So we're gonna put like quite a bit of that kind of stuff on this level. And also, we can kind of adjust which order and layer we want. So I might actually move this flower up to like layer, I don't know, like I can put it on top of the player, like something stupid like level 30 or something like that. Okay, so I can like kind of move it around here, and then make sure that it's actually, you know, sitting where the player can run. Um, and this will make it look like the flower is in front of the player. So we're gonna do this with like trees. We're gonna do this with like you know, grass and stuff like that to make sure that they kind of move. Certain ones, not everything, but make sure that certain elements will move once the player like bumps into them, just to make it, ooh, that tree moved. Yeah. Yeah, my Mac is running really slow. So now, like when I run through this, you know, it does look like it's kind of sitting on top of the player. It's lined, so you can't really see it, but you can see like there is some environmental reaction, right? So that's what we're going to be using. So I'll leave that that thing there, actually. Now, keep in mind, like we're not really doing anything with the graphics at the moment. This is just like the layout, the way that I tend to lay out my games. All right, so especially for like 2D platformers. So we've got our interactable environment. So this is what interactable is for. I might actually these are the old interactables from the previous game. So what I might do actually is go ahead and create a new empty, and I'll name that interactable. Yeah, because this is interactable. All right, so. And then I'll drag this interactables above this one. And I'll drag this flower into here. Right. And then this interactable, this is actually an old one, so from the previous level, so I'll just use that as reference. And then like what we're going to do is like after we have our level set up, we're going to delete all of these old versions because they're still in my default level that I use anyway. And so we're just going to copy and paste what we need and then get rid of the old versions. And that way I don't have to try to rebuild everything on each level, right? So let me make sure I save that. So now we have a new container with this flower in it. All right, so now let's see, what else do we have to do? I'm gonna go over here and like puzzles, like I said, we're not gonna worry about. So that's basically a rundown of of all of these containers. So if you download my Spirits of the Lost Winds game kit, you'll notice there's a similar layout. So that'll explain it a lot more. Or you can just go back and watch all of my previous Twitch streams on that. So the meat and potatoes of what we're going to be getting in today, though, is we're going to be playing around in the level map, right? So you notice I have level map old here. This is basically, if I switch this on, you'll see like all of this crap from the previous demo level pops up, right? So I've got my sky, my cloud, and everything. So we are going to be copying some of the elements for these just to save time. But what we want to do is we want to create a new level map, which is this one right here. So I'm going to turn this level map old off because we're just going to be using it as reference. And then I'll jump into this new level map. So let me show you how this is set up. So for the new level map, we do have like we have stuff like for sky elements. This will be like clouds and stuff like that'll be passing by. And I've got like my sky in here. So the sky that you're looking at right now is sky 2. So I put 2 skies in here. And these skies are basically just basically just graphics that I created in Adobe Animate with the gradient. So this is sky 1, and then I have my nice blue sky here. So I just made those like movie clips, exported them out, and then like dropped them into Unity. And then like if I want to switch to a blue tone sky, I can just like a lighter one. I can just like use this, right? And that will give me sky one. You know, so I've got two skies in here. Right now I'm kind of using this one, and I kind of change the tint or whatnot. Also for this one, I have sky tint. So this will allow me to lighten and darken, or maybe even change the color of the sky further. So if I turn this off, you'll notice that this looks a little bit more bluish. But if I turn this on, you know, we've got like a nice little like pinkish haze over it, and that gives me a little bit more control of how the sky kind of looks, right? And also I can, the reason I use the sky tint as well is because I can actually animate this sky tint, and I can use this to make a transition from night to day. So, for example, if I turn this all the way to black, and I create an animated timer for this, I can actually have this slowly transition, like during, you know, slowly transition from day to night, as the like clock kind of runs down, which I've also done in my Spirits of the Lost Winds game kit, which is why you should really download that shit. All right, so, but for now I'm gonna go ahead and reset this back to the default color here. So this sky tint gives me options for changing the sky over a certain amount of time without having to load a new sky, if you know what I mean. So this is the default sky, and then this is just a tint that will allow me to, like, you know, say, okay, I want this sky to turn from yellow to red, you know, like halfway in the middle and then back to yellow or something like that, right? So it gives me a little bit more control. I have not put any clouds in here, but we're probably just gonna like copy some of the clouds from here and just drop them on the level later. So that's the sky. The scene layers we'll get into. Barriers, I do have barriers set up here, but they're not really so necessary for this. As a matter of fact, I'm going to turn some of these barriers off because they might actually be in the way. So these barriers, I think, yeah, won't be relevant. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all of these off. And don't worry if there's like a lot of extra elements in the level build right now, because we just need to get the level built, and then after that we're going to turn off or delete all of the stuff that we don't need, as to where we have you know, fresh levels, so you know, without being clogged up. But barriers would be like if there's certain things I want the player to like kind of run into. Like, for example, if I don't want them to be able to go past a certain point, I might put a barrier there, or maybe even for enemies, if I want them to like bump into something and then turn the other way, I might do that. But for right now, we don't have any. Platforms. We don't have any platforms in here, but, you know, since this game does involve jumping, we are going to need some platforms. So, let's see. Platforms, ground. For ground, I do already have ground in here. This is more like for graphics for the ground, instead of actual where the player will step. Then we have our mask area. So because this game will have hidden elements, if you'll notice, Megan does have a sprite mask inside of her. The player does have a sprite mask inside of the character, right? So all of the characters, if I go here, you'll notice there's a sprite mask here, and you know, this will allow her to see certain things that might be hidden naturally, right? So because this game does have hidden objects, hidden areas, that sprite mask will allow her to see past those. So all of those hidden elements will be kind of dropped in here to this mask hidden area. Then we've got our patrol points. This is mostly for like enemies or for a boss. And then we also have our background. So our background might have a sprite mask or something like that. But we don't really have anything set up in here right now. So for us, the main focus will be the scene layers. Right, so I mentioned that I did something with my scene layers, so let me go ahead and close this one. So if you'll notice, there are quite a few scene layers in here. Let me go ahead and turn this one on as well. Let's see. So what I want you to think of is this: like our default layer is going to be layer 0. Layer 0 will be where most of the interaction of the game will be. So this is where our player is going to be. This is where our enemies are going to be. And this is going to be like where most of the stuff that we interact with is going to be on this layer. So we can put all of this on the same layer with just kind of like different orders in layer. And the reason why we're going to want most of the interactable stuff in the player on layer 0 is because when you go to layer 1, like this does have a little bit of parallax with it, right? So for example, now I put this one as ground. Now if you'll notice, all of these game objects have a parallax layer script, right? And basically what this script allows me to do is it lets me choose which of these game objects will actually have parallax with it. So for layer 1, I put that layer 1 as ground, and layer 0 as layer 0 has no parallax like at all. It just doesn't move. So the camera will just follow it and it will move according to the camera. Layer 1 does have this parallax layer, but I have that set to 0 on purpose because I don't want I want the objects to follow the camera, or the camera to I want these objects to stay stationary when the camera moves, basically. But when we start getting to layer 2, this one has the same parallax script, but it has a value of 0.25. So just to demonstrate that, what's going to happen here is if I go, I'm going to drag, I'm going to create a few different, use my building blocks. I'm going to create a square, and I'm going to duplicate this square. So I'm going to duplicate this square, default square 1, and I'm going to drag this default square into layer 2, right? And so this will help kind of demonstrate what I'm going to show you guys. So this default square will be, I guess, we'll start with yellow. So we'll turn this one yellow. Right. And then I'm going to move this default square. Where am I going to move you? Yeah, I'm going to move this default square right here. Put it right on top of this. It's not going to need any physics or anything. It's just going to be sitting there, right? So now that we have this here, I'm going to duplicate this default square, and I'm going to put this on, drag it into layer 3, and I'm going to change this one to a maybe orange. And then I'm going to do this for all of these, right? Default square. Right, and I want to make sure that they're on the right layer as well. So this one will be red. Okay, and let's duplicate this guy again, drag this into 5. Alright, and I'm just gonna go ahead and change the color on all of these, make this one more a little bit purple now. Okay, and then on layer 6, gonna put this one as blue. Okay, so so when you look at this right here, basically what you're going to see is you're just going to see this yellow square. So I kind of have them all set up aligned in the same area, right? But when I hit play, because all of these layers have a different parallax assigned to them, you should notice a little bit of difference. Oh, okay, yeah. My Mac is having a hard time down here because it's hot. And I don't know why it keeps on shrinking down inside. Alright, so anyway, so when I come here, you'll notice something's kind of going on with these squares, right? So this is what I mean by each of them has a different parallax value. So the one on layer 0 doesn't really, I mean, it's layer 1 isn't really moving so much. It is moving a little bit though. Right, so this basically means that when I'm standing over here at the beginning of the level, they're all kind of aligned, but you notice that they're kind of stacked on top of each other in the back, and so the camera is actually responding to the value of the parallax set for these, right? So as I move this way, you know, the ones on the layer in the back will kind of like, they'll look like they're moving a little bit faster than the ones in the front, right? And this is like our parallax that I've kind of got set up for this using that parallax script. All right. So those are the first. So remember, the layers with the negative numbers will appear to move faster in as background objects as the player runs across the screen. And with each of these, you can kind of like, you know, set the parallax amount. The back layer is set to 1, so it looks like it's moving very fast as the player is like kind of running. Um, so you can adjust these however you need them to be. All right. So realistically, I guess I could, for these, I could reverse them. So let's see. And this layer doesn't have like anything at all, so it's just kind of, I'll go ahead and create a default square for this one too. So default square for this one will be just dropped in here. And this will be like a standard white. So right now, what we're doing, we're basically still just kind of setting up the levels, you know, to where like once we start building them, we understand where everything is at, and we don't have to keep on kind of checking and stuff like that. So preparation for level design is actually really important. So I haven't, when I say that though, I haven't actually pre-made this level or pre-made the assets for it because I kind of want to build it with you guys. But right now, I'm just like, we're just kind of getting the spacing, the timing, the parallax, you know, where all of, getting an idea of where all of these elements are going to go. All right, so let's drop down here. So we got, yeah. So as soon as I drop down, you'll notice that, you know, things kind of, so right now they're all aligned. Level 0, not moving at all. Level 1 is moving a little bit. Level 2 is like, you know, getting further. Yeah, getting a bit faster and further away. Okay. So. Okay. So we're going to keep these default squares here as again as references when we're building our levels. And then like when we don't need them, we'll just like, you know, like delete them. All right. So now those are the negative levels. All right. And then for the positive levels, these will be our foreground elements. So what we're going to do is continue like to copy these. So remember, layer 0 is for our player. Layer 1 is for our ground, so it has no parallax because we don't want our ground parallaxing under us as we run, right? So let's go with this default square again, and I drag this into layer 1. Right, and I'm going to use a darker like color for this one now. So a bolder color. So bolder yellow. Yeah, hold on. They're doing some landscaping across the street, which is going to severely interfere with my stream. So give me a second. Let me close this window. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, they're doing like landscaping, so I had to like close everything down. All right, so we're gonna go here. Then we're gonna duplicate this square again. Drop that into layer 2. Turn this one to orange. Then for layer 3, I'm gonna duplicate this and make this one red. Okay. Now okay. And this is just so that you can kind of keep track of your parallaxing, basically. And then like you can adjust the values as necessary for your game. So, hold on, let me duplicate this. And then I'll duplicate this one for layer 6. All right, so Now we have all of these set up. Right. So now when I hit play, we can check the parallaxing for the front layer. So these will be in front of layer 1. So that means that they will be foreground elements. So we also can like set the parallax for how we want our foreground elements to move as well. And it's not, for your game, it might not even be necessary for you to have so many like parallax levels, like parallax layers. I just put them there because like I'm lazy and I don't want to add them later. So okay, so when we drop down here again, so we have these, and you know they're just kind of all like moving. But if I jump, you'll notice that this yellow and you know this green and stuff like that are kind of in front. So for these foreground elements, we might want to like you know make them move a bit slower. So what we can do is we'll just start with the first one. So I'll go to this layer 1 and see what value we have for that. So this is 1.7. So what we're going to do for this one, I think, is layer 0. We're going to put this as 0. So there's not going to be any parallax for that one. Because so these these elements will not move. Then for layer 2, that's 23. So we're going to go like with negative. Or like actually like so I'm just gonna negative that one and then negative 33, and so the negative values will like move slower, so they'll like have like it's kind of counterintuitive, but they'll have like positive values. The ones in the front will have the negative values because I want them kind of moving slower. So okay, and then. And like I said, you can kind of play around with these all you want. Okay. Actually, this one should also be -1. Okay, so let's go down here again. All right, and now you'll see like these are kind of like moving. So the way that these are kind of moving. So like I said, you know, play around with them. Play around with them the way that you kind of need them to go. So I might actually reverse those because I do kind of want them going the opposite way. Now, realistically, for the foreground, we might not even necessarily need too much parallaxing because we're going to have this one that is kind of static. Yeah, and then maybe this one can move. Yeah. Hold on. So I think I'll reset those back to, yeah, reset those back to their positive values. So, like, you know, like I said, for this was actually set up for my Spirits of the Lost Winds game. So, and then I decided I wasn't really gonna have too much parallaxing with them, for this style. So, okay, and then for these. So I might set these to the negative values instead. But you know, like even though like this might look a little boring when it comes like you know like you're like I'm spending so much time on setup. Actually, this is really important because like when you start actually adding a lot of stuff and a lot of elements, you're gonna get lost in this shit. So it's like, wait a minute, is that on level one or is that on level? And why is this not parallaxing in the right way? And then you're gonna get caught up doing all of that. So it's just better to go ahead and get all of that stuff out of the way so that before you actually start designing and putting more elements onto the screen. Okay. All right. Cool. 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 So let's see. We're gonna go do this. Okay, so what's happening here is they're on the right layers, but they're not showing on the right layer. So, okay, but they are in the right spots. So right now it's just like you can't really see them in the back. So we'll play around with these a little bit more, you know, so you can actually see kind of what's going on. So, well, I mean, you can't really see them because of they're behind the background. That's what I mean. So, all right. So, anyways, like they are in the right spot, and the camera is following them correctly. Hmm. Okay. Right now they look like they're kind of right now they're kind of stacked on top of each other because they're all in the same spot. You know, but that's just to kind of demonstrate like how the effect, and this will all make sense when we start acting like adding more stuff. All right, so what we're going to do with these now is we're going to go ahead and jump into each of these and kind of just turn these parallaxes off, these parallax squares off. So we're going to use those as references, but they're not going to, of course, they're not going to be visible in the game. All right, so let me turn those off. All right, so the next thing that we're going to do is, I've got this default square here too. Right, so I'm going to turn that guy off. All right, so the next thing that I usually do is before I start building a level, I like to build my building blocks. So I already explained these building blocks over here. So that is, these are like the default building blocks that I'm actually using to lay out the level. And give me 1 second. I might need to step outside for a second. So I'm gonna jump off of this, and then I'm gonna come back on another stream for about like maybe 30 minutes, and then I'll show you how I built this because this is actually one of the most important things in my game level design. So I will jump off for a second. Let me save this, and then I will be right back after I go take care of something. So you guys stay tuned, and I will see you in a bit. Like I said, if you want to like make your own game, you don't have to, and you don't want to have to worry about like going through all the code and stuff like that. Go to my website, creativemv.com, and download my Spirits of Lost Winds game kit. And that will like save you a lot of time because you can just like copy and like drag and drop your like graphics in there, or like copy and paste code into your other projects, right? Because I've actually put a lot of work into this. All right, so just go ahead and download it now while it's like relatively cheap. And then like I'm also going to be doing more tutorials and stuff on YouTube, Patreon, and actually on Udemy for how I built this game. All right, so I'll jump off for now, take care of what I need to, and then I'll be back in a